Welcome everyone to the video podcast series Lifestyle by Design. I'm your host, Margaret Wiltshire, and tonight my guest of honor in the house is James Montgomery, coming all the way from New Jersey. James, what's up?
Hey Margaret, how's it going?
It's going. I am happy that you can spend your Monday night here with me tonight. Your video went out there, but that's okay. Can you say something so at least I hear you and I have the audio?
Hey Margaret, I can hear you fine. I can think of no better way to spend a Monday evening.
Awesome. Okay, so James is a physicist turned WordPress developer and entrepreneur. He's developed themes and plugins for Gabfire Themes. He's managed client projects for 99 Robots, and he works with select clients as a freelance consultant. James has also architectured and overseen the development of large-scale web application projects while traveling across 5 continents and over 20 countries. He writes about his experience and advice on traveltilt.com, his newest venture. So a big round of applause and welcome to James Montgomery.
Thank you.
So James, we're going to be talking about you, what you do, and your amazing lifestyle by design that you have created here. So you started out as a physicist.
Yes.
What led to the road of WordPress developer?
So I graduated with a degree in physics. And I felt that the lab wasn't my calling. Reproducing test results and peering into telescopes, even though I love physics, wasn't what I felt I needed to do. So I had the opportunity to actually start a co-working space, which I think might be the opposite of physics. I started a co-working space with a few other guys. It's actually the largest co-working space in New Jersey. It's called Juice Tank. And at Juice Tank, I actually studied and practiced to be that WordPress web developer. So, learning that and practicing it and, working with clients and building, the company sites helped me build up my skill set and my client base in order to pay for those lovely adventures across Europe. So that's, I guess, the short answer to that question.
Okay. So what do you love about physics?
So I love physics because it's a good way of explaining things. I like that it explains how things work. I like to know how things work. I actually wanted to be an engineer for a short while, but I chose physics ultimately. There's a little less math in physics than engineering, but I like knowing how things work, and physics really spoke to that.
Okay. So do you find anything in common, any theories in common with physics and WordPress development?
Maybe. I mean, you can draw some parallels. If you break something, there must be a cause, right? But I think that I draw more things from physics in just real life than just WordPress. I think one of my favorite things is one of Newton's laws. I forget which one. I think it's the second one or the first one. It's about momentum and inertia, and that an object that is in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by something else. And I draw that a lot in my own life with, as long as you keep the ball rolling, as long as you move forward and you're move the needle every day and have progress every day, you can keep that progress moving forward. And the same thing applies as if you stop still and don't move the needle and don't have progress, and you'll stay still. So that's one of the things I've kind of taken more as a lifestyle anecdote, and also as a physics law, which we all must abide by. But I try to pull that into my life momentum.
Okay. So how did you get into development? Well, your specialty is WordPress. Let me rephrase that, right? But how did you get into building and designing websites?
Sure. So as I mentioned, when I was working at Juice Tank, I learned to be a WordPress developer. Actually, the main catalyst for that learning process was my mentor, Charlie Patel. I worked at Juice Tank, still works there. And he basically said, hey, you like to build things. Try this out. Try this thing. And I never thought that it would be my thing. I had some coding lessons in high school and some minor stuff in college, but I never practiced it like I did at Juice Tank. So it was a surprise. It really was, because I had this preconception that a developer was, in the basement with just like long greasy hair coding away for 16 hours a day. And while some days that might be the case, it was drastically different, and it really opened my eyes to not the work itself, though I enjoy the work itself, but what you can do at using that as your main skill set. So
Okay.
it was shown to me by Charlie.
That's pretty cool. And I would imagine you pretty much lucked out, because you enjoy doing this. Mm-hmm. So now, how is your life today different from that, long hair, greasy coder that's in the basement all day long?
How is my life different from that coder? I mean, right now I'm in the living room, not a basement. I used that skill set to achieve the other things that I wanted, to not live up to a stereotype, but to plan out and try and follow and achieve what I wanted to be myself, to look at people that I envied, or and use that as like fuel, basically, to say, how can I go and get that? And so the best part about development or design or copywriting or any of these kind of freelance skill sets is that you have that freedom, flexibility to work remotely. And so I took full advantage of that. And I left for, I think my first big trip was about 4 months. I worked the whole time I was there. I did. I worked and worked. It wasn't just all gallivanting. Every day wasn't 5-star restaurants and luxury. But I set that as my goal. I bought my one-way ticket, and I made it work.
Okay. I'm curious now, how do you plan your trips? Because wherever you go, and this is part of your dream, to be able to do this work from anywhere in the world, how does one plan this? Because you're going to need, access to certain technical things, Wi-Fi, tell me how that works.
So I would be lying if I said that I planned it. And my girlfriend Michelle will attest to this as well. I'm not a big planner, at least when it comes to my traveling. I like to kind of fly by the seat of my pants. But in order, there are the key things you need. Like you mentioned, Wi-Fi. So, it's just quickly perusing, does this hostel or hotel have Wi-Fi? If not, there's usually a Starbucks nearby. I was actually quite surprised to see just how many Starbucks there were.
Wow.
Not in the United States. McDonald's is another one. Didn't find any Walmarts. I heard that there was Walmarts. I didn't find a Walmart. But it is important to have Wi-Fi connectivity. You don't know how much it really means until you lose it. And so when we were abroad, you don't have Wi-Fi, or you don't have Wi-Fi and you don't have data. You kind of lose that extra realm of, the word is connectivity, but being able to lose yourself in your phone or in your browser and your game. And I actually really enjoy that part, being disconnected and just being thrust into, using this paper map and going and asking for directions and interacting with random people in different countries that may not speak the best English. But connectivity is important. I'd say probably most, if not all, hostels or places they have that. So it's easy to kind of spend the day and really crunch out some work. Yeah. So not a lot of planning, just some base necessities.
Okay. Did you always want to travel?
So travel has been in my family, I'd say. Every summer we'd go someplace, or there would be field trips to go, see Washington, D.C. or Philadelphia, and just to see what things they have. But like I said, we had family vacations. I remember one year we went to Alaska, or one year we went to the Grand Canyon. Usually it would just be down the Jersey Shore. I guess that's traveling. But I say that's really where that motivation or inspiration or drive came from, is those experiences, I think.
Okay.
That and James Bond.
Yes, good old James Bond. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So have you done any spy moves? If there's such a thing, spy moves?
I'm not at liberty to say. I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay. I'm not at liberty to reveal anything. Nothing that I know about. So how did you get inspired to live this type of lifestyle?
So those 2 weeks of travel or vacation every year was most of the extent of my time with my parents. I spent most time in after-school programs. My mom actually started her own family practice. She's a doctor. And my dad was an engineer. He worked late as well. So there was not a lot of time to just be with each other. There's schoolwork and, childhood addiction to video games. So there's not a lot of that time. And so I think that a lot of people could probably say the same thing. So being able to have that time, to spend it freely, and to not only be able to work from home, but to build something that lets you.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
That's my dog. I'm terribly sorry.
That's super funny.
Scratching herself. Sorry. She wanted to get in.
That's funny. I love dogs. I was saying, so the inspiration came from that. I mean, to solve for that time, right? To be able to solve for that time and that money in a different way. Not a traditional way where, you're simply trading time for money. It's super useful, but I wanted, coming from that, I wanted to build something more. I guess I've also got that entrepreneurial spirit per se from my mother, who was like, screw it, I'm going out on my own.
Yeah. Good for her. Good for her.
It was hard. It was hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's tough as a mom, you know, raising a family and trying to live what's in your heart. Sometimes, you know, it's a little difficult to balance those things out.
Mm-hmm.
But good for her that she took the chance on something that was in her heart.
Yeah,
to do.
it's really been interesting. So I just turned 25 last week.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. And the past few years, I think it's been really interesting to see our relationship change and to learn more about her as a person, as opposed to just a mom, and to hear stories about, you know, all the struggle and balance, and like you mentioned, of not only raising kids but also going and doing these other things. So she has become even more of an inspiration to me, just hearing those stories of, you know, crazy days and months and years. So, yeah. Anyway.
That's awesome. So, what's the most fulfilling part of living a lifestyle like this for you?
I'd say one of the best things about this lifestyle is that the flexibility to either stay at home or go and do whatever. I mean, it could be, you know, your friend calls you and says, hey, there's this concert that I have free tickets to. Do you want to come? It's right now. And being able to say yes to those things and be open to just the randomness of life. That's something that I've grown to very much appreciate. The other thing that really is fulfilling, you know, when you talk about fulfillment, is, you know, I don't want to say being a role model. I don't consider myself so much a role model, but being able to share what I've done in order to help someone do that as well. So whenever someone comes to me and says, man, I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to go to Europe, or I wanted to go to Mexico and just spend some time there, or, you know, travel has always been a dream for me, but I never really planned for it. You know, how did you do that? How did you do that? Oh man, I cannot tell you. That is probably my favorite thing in the whole world, is to be like, well, first you do this and go here and do this and do this, and to really go through planning and inspiration and where do you want to go, and, you know, so that person can be fulfilled. And teaching someone how to do that is just, it's the good stuff.
Well, you're also like a trailblazer here. You know, you're like blazing a trail, and definitely role model, and you'd be able to mentor those who do want to live a lifestyle like that, in fact. You know, so you'd even be able to help them, you know, with things like, hey, maybe you shouldn't stay in that part of town,
Yeah.
you know, and don't go to that hotel. You know, I mean, definitely it would be a big help on many different levels to anyone who wants, and it's pretty much like a dream lifestyle, you know. Who does that, you know? I mean, so I think it's pretty amazing and it's pretty impressive, and that's why you are here tonight, to share that with, you know, anyone who's viewing this and who wants to do this. Here you are, you have made this a reality. Like, you are doing this, and you're doing it because you want to do it. It's in your heart. So even those people who may not meet you on a personal level, they're hearing your story, and they can see your face, and, you know, they're listening to what you're saying, and they're like, hey, I can do that. That's possible.
That's right. You can do it. You can do it, Margaret.
That's right. I'm going to be on the beach somewhere.
That's right.
With good Wi-Fi. Interviewing everyone with an amazing story. So what has been some of your biggest challenges?
So I think easily the biggest challenge with any type of freelance is, I guess the best way to phrase it is, when it rains, it pours. And otherwise it's a drought. I forget the actual phrase, but when it rains, it pours is half of it. So it's very difficult to plan money, which is okay when you fly by the seat of your pants sometimes. So, you know, you have to plan for, you know, are these projects coming in? What kind of leads can I go and generate? And just be like the all-in-one sales and project completing machine, right? So it's hard when you're strong at some of those and weak in others. So it's kind of the curse of, I don't want to say a curse, but the challenge of being a freelancer is really highlighted in when it rains, it pours, and having to be everything all in one.
And how do you weather that?
Good old saving money is a good one. The other one is a lot harder, actually, is to build revenue that is not project-based. And that's the tricky one, is passive income. So creating digital products, or creating, you know, a profitable blog or a webinar or a podcast, or, you know, creating something that can scale without your time input, whether that be technology or information, or that's really the only two. Or, you know, drop shipping products. I mean, there's tons and tons of ways to do it.
Okay.
They're not easy. They're super hard, and that's like the best solution. It's the hardest, but it's the best solution to weather that.
Okay. Can you give me some examples of projects that you find are fun?
So my favorite thing is to work with people who are super passionate about what they're building, their brand or their website or whatever. So my favorite project to work on, one of my favorites, was actually your site, because you love it. You just eat and breathe and sleep all of this stuff, and you love your brand, and it's so awesome to work with someone like that. I mean, I've worked with people in the past who are very passé and apathetic, and it's more of a job than a passion or inspiration for them. So I really, really enjoyed working with you. You also listen very well. So that's another thing that I enjoy, is people who are like, hey, you do this, I will listen to what you have to say. So that's what I like.
Well, you're the expert in that space, you know, and you did force me to think of things that I hadn't thought about, and it's because it's your space, you know, so I could only respect it and respect the fact that you know what you're doing. But I, as I had mentioned to you before, you know, like, it forced me to think some things through that I had never thought about before, and it just made sense. So, you know, yeah, plug for James here because he's awesome. He's awesome, you know, and you know, sometimes you think you just need a website and whatever, and you were like, no, I'm not going to do anything until you think this thing through and you have a focus, because it's got to be intentional.
That's right.
And it made sense. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you pick your countries? I think I asked you, how do you plan, but how do you pick your countries? How do you say where you're going next? I mean, is it like a bucket list, or do you just say, I feel like going someplace hot? How does it work?
It was very fly by the seat of my pants. I don't have like a list of countries, if that's what you're asking, with priority, you know, stars next to them and color coded. Yeah, so let's take it through my first trip to Europe. I flew to Helsinki, Finland.
Okay.
Probably not anyone's first choice.
Hey, they probably have really good Wi-Fi there. I heard they have Wi-Fi everywhere. In fact, I think I heard it was a law that everyone should have internet connection. Let me not say Wi-Fi.
That was good. It was good Wi-Fi. So the reason I chose Helsinki was because it was a cheaper flight than flying directly to Tallinn, Estonia, which is also I don't think anyone's first choice, though I highly recommend it. Both of those places are really beautiful. And I actually went there to see my friend who lives there. So it wasn't the country, it was the person that was there I went to see, and it was a good inlet. One of the other countries I wanted to check out always was Poland. So it was kind of like all in the same area, more or less. I actually found out when I was over there that I have like distant relatives that live still in Poland, and I had the completely surreal opportunity to meet them and stay with them.
Wow.
That was really cool.
Did you blog about that?
I think I have some of that story in some of my blog posts, yeah.
Okay.
But in terms of choosing a country, I mean, it really came down, at least for me, as someone who does not plan very well, of going on to Google Flights and looking, okay, how much is it to Amsterdam? How much is it to Berlin? How much is it to, Budapest or Prague or Paris or London? And I'm like, okay, that one's the cheapest. Let's go there. Buses and trains, same thing. I mean, if a country is next to you, I would just go there. It seemed like a good plan. But yeah, that's. I mean, we all have we all Pinterest, we all have Instagram. We follow these crazy travel places. When you see Trolltunga in Scandinavia, you want to like, oh my god, that's awesome. I want to go there. Or you see this place in Phuket, and you're like, that's amazing. I want to go there. It's just a list of every single country has something amazing in it that you want to go and see. So, like a cheap flight ticket and go.
I interviewed recently, I think I sent you the link, Gary Ant, A-R-N-D-T. He is a world traveler, and his story is pretty amazing. But Gary has not been to India or Russia yet. And he has not been to the big countries because he actually likes to explore the smaller countries because he can see like the whole country, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'd never heard anyone say that before, and he hasn't explored like India. I think actually at the time I interviewed him, he went to one part of India, and it was like recently. And, for him, it was like massive. And as he was talking, he was saying there's like so much territory to cover. And he said like he bought a plane ticket and he went west, and a one-way ticket, and he just kept going, but he would do like small islands, and his story. And for it, like interviewing him and talking to him, I thought like it was just very brave because he really didn't have a plan. He just would go. It's like go where the wind blew him. And people, whether he spoke the language or did not. But one of the things he said was, he would just figure it out. Like as he went there, he was in the situation and he was more or less forced to figure it out. And I thought it was pretty impressive. And I bring that up because you're pretty much kind of saying the same thing. It's like, okay, I'll go here, I'll see what tickets are cheap, and I'll go and I'll take the bus to neighboring city or country or whatever, and I'll figure it out. If there's somebody who speaks good English. Yeah.
You can't not figure it out. I mean, you need a place to sleep. You have to figure out a place to sleep. I mean, some of the time I spent on people's couches.
Wow.
Couch surfed a few times. It's an interesting experience to do that. I have some fun stories I can share with you after. But yeah, I couch surfed and stayed in hostels, and it's just figure it out. That's a good way to put it. Figure it out, move west, figure it out.
Yeah. I think you guys are brave. I mean, it's pretty darn brave, So tell me, what makes you happy?
I'm going to touch back on what I said before about being fulfilled by helping someone else travel or go to see and do what they want. That really does make me happy. That and playing with puppies, the really fuzzy ones.
I have a Shih Tzu.
Okay, I'll come pet it. Then I'll be happy. Happiness is, I guess for me, it's always been, it's always related to people somehow. It's never been just about me per se. I can be content by myself, or I can, watch some TV or play video games or just be on my own, even traveling on my own. But I'd say I was really happy to help others do that and to share that experience, like I said, with my girlfriend, or I went traveling with my buddy Matt, and being able to go to these places and be like, do you see this? This is amazing. Like, yeah, I see this. Like, we know now. And being able to really share that moment with somebody, it makes it very different. So it makes me happy. Like, for instance, Michelle and I, my girlfriend Michelle, who's listening? Hi, Michelle.
Michelle.
We went to the Cliffs of Moher and the Scottish Highlands, and all these different places just a few months ago, and it was just good to share that, and it makes me happy.
So awesome. That's, it's like the simple things in life that really mean so much, because we live in such a fast-paced world and people miss these moments, and here you are doing what you want to do. You've created this lifestyle around work that you enjoy, and not just work that you enjoy, but being a trailblazer and knowing that this is going to help other people too in the, now in the near future. And it's pretty damn impressive, because you are also very young, and you've made this stand to live this lifestyle, and it's commendable, and it's, like I said, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I'm completely blown away by it, and I commend you for it. A lot of people live in fear, and a lot of people play it small and live safe, but you are taking the chance with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
Yeah, I mean, following, I'm not done mastering fear per se. I don't think anyone ever really masters it. And for those of you who don't know, Margaret and I both are part of a Facebook group where we post videos of ourselves talking about stuff, something that I was unfamiliar with and I was terribly afraid of. So little things like that really help you work on. I think that, I don't know if we can share that link or not, but in terms of fear, it's you build on little moments, little things, or really big things, just do it, just do it.
So James, what advice would you give to people?
I have a list. I'll read from my list. Where's my list? Okay, so following off of that thing about fear, I don't know if you saw her video, but one of the members of our group posted a video about the idea of following your fear, and I really like that phrasing. If you're afraid of doing something, it's a good opportunity to, follow it, go and tackle it and to do it. For me, at least, a lot of my fear stems from doing something wrong or like failing. I know that a lot of people have fear of failure. And so if you're afraid of failing at something, that means that you want to be good at it. And so it's something that you should try and go after. it's tough. It's really hard to do. Let's see, other advice I have for people. This one comes from my girlfriend's mother. It's a saying called, people are either a blessing or a lesson. So being able to go through life and really see, you know, what people what people in your life are and how they impact your life. You know, either you have good people that impact your life and are amazing, or you have not so great people that you learn from and move on. So that's a good thing. Let's see, another one. Oh, speaking of people, a thing I've been trying to digest is that when someone's being a pain or mean or whatever, or just disagreeing with you, one of the things I'm trying to really embody and learn is that if I were them, I would react exactly the same way. And then on top of that, that person has to live with themselves for 100% of the time, where I only have to interact with them for, you know, whatever X% of the day. So that's what I use kind of all of those lessons to help my interactions with people and not take things so personally. So that's some of the advice I try and use in my own life. I can go on. I have more.
Go
on. Don't let things build up in your mind. So, you know, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. And the other side to that is to break your mountain into molehills. So if you have this big goal, you know, break it. Don't look at it like this huge unattainable thing. I mean, travel is a perfect example. People oftentimes say, you know, a plane ticket is too expensive. Well, if you break that plane ticket down to a year's, you know, a daily savings, like it's like 30 cents or something like that. I don't know the number. I should have prepared one. But to take that mountain and to break it down into small actionable steps to take you forward to achieving it, that's something that is really helpful for me. Let's see. Work on yourself and build habits. Habits are I mean, there's tons of good quotes out there that I'm completely blanking on. I'm sure Benjamin Franklin has some good ones, and Elon Musk has some good ones. But habits are super important. I mean, I think one of the quotes I'm trying to remember is like, what you do every day is like who you are, or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But to really try and build habits, that's something I've been really trying to practice. You know, doing the same thing every day, you know, like flossing. That's super, super easy, super attainable. Just floss, you know, every day, once a day, or, you know, do some jumping jacks every day. Stuff like that. And we all know the habits we're supposed to build. We do. It's important to understand how big of an impact they have on our lives and whether we move forward or backward. That's a lot of what I have written down.
Okay. I like, there was something that one of the videos that you shared in that group on Facebook where you talked about building habits. And I believe you said, you know, you do what, 1% more the following day. So if you did, you know, 5 push-ups today, tomorrow you would do 6, you know, and something to the effect that you like that you said, and I thought that was pretty good. And you said, you know, your mindset is that, hey, if I did this today, I can do it tomorrow, and I can do a little bit more. And I thought I like that, you know, and I have adopted some of that thinking.
Good. Yeah, it's been the main thing that I use that for. You know, I did it yesterday, so I can do it today. I mean, you can apply that to every one of your habits. But by improving by 1 more is something that I used mostly for exercising. Okay. You know, being stronger, or having a beach bod, or you know, just being more physically fit or mentally fit is something that I know at least a lot of my friends are building. They go to the gym, they pump iron, and I don't. I have my floor. I have a yoga mat, and that's what I use. And that's something that I've tried to build into my daily routine, because there's no excuse. You know, you have everything you need. You did it yesterday. You don't need to go to the gym. It's not cold outside in your room. It's fine. It's all there. You know, try and remove those obstacles. You know, procrastinating and excuses, and try and strip so much of that away, where you can just build even the smallest habit. So I think I'm up to, today was 76 jumping jacks in a row, and
Wow.
I think I'm at 36, no, 40, no. I forget, but it's one more every day. I stopped for a while, so I'm starting over again.
Okay.
But it's, you know, it's something something so easy where you can say, you know, I grew at least a little bit today. I did one more push-up, that means I'm stronger than I was yesterday too. And to just have like a foundation for your day, where you start out in the morning and you have completed like these 10 things that you automatically are stronger and improved than yesterday, then you're in a pretty good place. You can, not that you should, but you can mess up the whole rest of the day and not accomplish anything, but you know, at least you moved a little bit. And that comes back to that momentum and being able to say, and it's so awesome to say, look at your streak and be like, I've been doing this every single day for 60 days, for 100 days, for a year, 2 years, 5 years. Like, at least for me, that's like the idea of a streak is just something implanted in my brain, probably by video games. But being able to power yourself through a streak of your habits is another good way. So the streak, I did it yesterday. Do one more today. All come together with just a yoga mat to improve myself every day. So if you say you can't go to the gym, that's fine. Just do these basic things on your floor.
Amen. You have no excuse.
That's right.
There's a saying, motivation gets you started, habit keeps you going.
That's right.
You know. And there was something else you said. Oh, I did not have a pen next to me. I usually have a pen next to me. And talking about habits. So that was one of the things, and it'll come back to me. Okay. But that actually, I think, is a great way to look at it. It definitely is. And it is what will keep you going and sustain you, you know, and oh, I remember what it was. So in doing, those are like small wins that you would celebrate every day. And it's really important to have small wins because it helps to build confidence. It helps to, you know, well, really it's all around confidence and creating healthier habits, but it makes you feel better. And like you said, you know, if you look at it in a whole year, I mean, you do a little bit every day, in a whole year, my God, you've come so far, you know. So it really is important, and it's manageable. You know, one more doesn't seem that much crazier or harder, but when you look at it and you complete it, you're like, wow, you know, I did one more. I'm strong. I'm healthy. You know, I've got this habit, you know, that creates, you know, creates lasting change in my body, you know. So it's amazing, you know, and it's manageable. And that's really important for people to understand.
Yeah. I mean, not biting off more than you can chew is so important to building a new habit. It's super important. I mean, you know, I've started before where it's like, I can do 20 push-ups right now. And I can do 10 more, you know, tomorrow. And, you know, the idea of trying to fit as much as possible into every day. And I have to make these massive changes. I'm not, I see all these other people, they have all these habits, and I need to build, and I need to be better. I need to like take it all on. And ultimately, when you take so much on, you fail at one, two, all of them, and you just you have to start over. And like failing that, then at least for me, contributes to oh, you failed at it, then it's not for you, and X, Y, Z. You build it in your brain at least. So having those super small, digestible increments, starting small is so important to habit building. So I challenge you to do one push-up. By the end of the year, you'll be doing 365 push-ups.
I'm going to take you up on that challenge. It's so funny you said that. I mean, a friend of mine is actually doing a push-up challenge, and she's like doing it live on Facebook, which is funny. But I'm going to start with that one push-up because I've been meaning to get to push-ups. Mm-hmm. So James, tell me, what's on the horizon for you?
So impending is a big move from New Jersey to Chicago.
Wow.
So yeah, I got all the stuff in boxes. I got, a lease signs and plans and plans. I have plans. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm moving with Michelle to Chicago. I've only been there once in the summertime. So we'll see.
When it's warm.
We'll see how cold it gets. Well, it shouldn't be so much colder than New York City. I mean, New York City is miserable in the wintertime too. So we'll see. That and working on Travel Tilt. So I think that is in my bio. But I did some thinking about what do I want to focus on building? What is going to make me happy to build? So I've been building things pretty much forever. Build things. Okay. And I was trying to tackle that question of what do I want to build next, and I was ultimately drawn back to the questions that you asked: what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled, and Travel Tilt really came as the answer to that in some form or another, where I'm creating a space online to share my advice or experiences, and offering myself as an example for people who want to do the same things. So that's the thing I'm building. Michelle's also building that with me. She shares my same passion, which is amazing. To travel, and like I mentioned, we went and traveled. We actually did 2 months abroad together. The ultimate test of a relationship, I'd say. We passed. So if you want to test your relationship, go abroad for 2 months. It was good.
And if you come back not arguing, then it gets the thumbs up.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. That's next on the horizon. Move to Chicago, build this awesome travel brand, make it work. Figure it out, make it work.
Where can people, if someone is looking at this and they want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So I am typically available through email. If you want to give out my email to people, by all means. I have contact forms on both Travel Tilt and my personal portfolio, wpmonty.com. That's generally, I live in my inbox. I actually blocked my Facebook feed. I found that I was scrolling too much. So I put in a Chrome extension to block my Facebook, my feed.
Wow.
Scroll forever. I deleted it from my phone too.
Okay.
I would have said Facebook, but typically not actually on Facebook. If you think, so it might be a difficult conversation or something to admit to yourself if you spend too much time on social media. So I suggest using an app, it's a tracking app called rescue time. And basically it says, it gives you a report at the end of your week based on your settings and preferences, to what you define as a waste of time versus productive. It tells you how much time you spent XYZ, like on Facebook and whatever. So it gives you an actionable insight into your time and where you can cut some stuff out to spend on other things like habits or building your brand or spending time with your family or whatever. So if you know somebody that is a social media consumer, or spends time on Netflix or what have you, rescue time is a good eye opener for that.
Okay. A serious reality check.
Yeah.
It should come with a mean voice. This is how much time you've wasted.
You spent 8 hours watching, The Office on Netflix. Oh,
time
no.
you will never get back.
Oh no. Yeah. So it's a bit of a rude awakening, I think. It was for me.
Okay. I always think things like that should come with like a really funny, mean voice.
Mm-hmm.
I would have I could do the perfect voiceover for that.
Oh, so what's the voiceover? Do it.
No, I can't get this raunchy on We're Live.
Why
not? No, I can't. I just had I know what I would say, but
just let it flow through you. Yeah.
Yes. I'll tell you off air.
Okay, that's fine.
So, Monty,
Yes.
which is your nickname,
It
James
is.
Montgomery. What was your email address there? We missed that.
My email address is james.montgomery179.
James. And I'm writing it in the chat box here. Montgomery. 1 M-O-N-T-M-E-R-I. Okay. Okay, go ahead. There you go. So while you're putting your email address in, and I'll say it out loud for people. So if anyone wants to reach James, this is just in case they look at it on YouTube, or they're listening on iTunes or SoundCloud. So you can find James at
Actually, let's use this one.
Okay.
Here we go.
You can find James at traveltilt.com, TravelTilt.com. His email address is Monty, MONTY, at WPMonty.com. So it is a tradition here at Lifestyle by Design for the guest of honor to give 3 actionable steps that people can implement into their lives immediately to start living their dreams. I mean, like right after they finish watching this podcast or listening to it.
I think that the first one is easily deducible from what we were talking about, is to do a push-up a day. Or to build from there. Do one exercise a day. Doesn't matter what it is. You can do 1 jumping jack. You can do a push-up off a wall. You can, do lunges. I don't know. You know what you need to do. Do 1 of those a day and do 1 more every day. Easy. Second thing, something that I found helps to center me. I don't know the best way to say it. I use a booklet called the 5-Minute Journal. It's a 5-minute journal that you fill out once in the morning and once at night, and it goes through. It asks you, 1, what are you grateful for? List 3 things that you're grateful for. 2, what would make this day amazing? And 3, what? Hold on, I have it right here. I'll read it. This is the 5-minute journal.
Okay.
The third one is your daily affirmation. Affirmations are very useful for self-confidence and empowering yourself, and just I am a great public speaker, or I am good on video, or I am a good developer, and being able to just put those words out in the world has all sorts of little benefits. And then at night, you write the 3 amazing things that happened today. It could be as simple as having dinner with your family, or you had a good meeting with your boss, or you read something that was very thoughtful. And then ultimately, the last thing is how you could have made your day better. So this is super useful because it helps to prep you for your day. Being grateful is amazing, just to help you appreciate things in your life. So one of the big things that I'm grateful for every day is being healthy, like having my health, not being sick. It's something that you don't think about a lot. Being able to breathe through your nose. You're all breathing through your nose. It's something that you forget when you have it. And so writing something like down every day about what you're grateful for, and keep reminding yourself of those things, is really good for you, I think, at least for me. Obviously, going through your day, with anticipation and trying to make something amazing happen, and being accountable for that at the end of the day. What things amazing happen? What are you thankful for that day? Is a great combination for you to really make the most of your day. So, 5-minute journal is super awesome. They have an app too if you're an app person, but I would get the journal.
Okay.
So third one, this is actually super, super, super hard because it requires you to dig deep in your emotional and genuine self. It can actually be very, very exhausting. And that is to find a person in your life and pay them a genuine compliment.
Wow.
To find a person and just level with them and say, hey man, you've been tremendously impactful in my life. You've affected me in so many ways I can never be grateful enough. I'm so thankful for you. I've cried at least 3 times going through that process. It's something that we don't give enough attention to. So the easiest one is to call one of your parents and thank them, or your sibling, or your best friend, or something like that. All of these ultimately, they're not necessarily business tactics, and I think it's important for me to go over why, because you need to be a whole person and a solid person in order to build your dream life. That's something that I talked about in one of my videos, is being a happy person by yourself before being in a relationship, and not relying on other things to make you happy and fulfilled and complete as an individual. So those 3 things that you can easily do every day, I think ultimately they don't take more than 10 minutes. So you're lying if you say you don't have time. But those 3 things will inevitably build you into a better person. And when you're a better person, you can then go and do these better things and amazing things with confidence. So those are my 3 things that I would say to go and do immediately tonight. You can do a push-up right now. It's only 9:15. It's only 9:15.
You have the time, and you have
before you watch Murder She Wrote, or my favorite is How to Get Away with Murder. Game of Thrones was yesterday. You can do a push-up during advertisements. That's fine. You have time.
That's true. You could do it right before you close your eyes too.
That's right.
Well, James, I want to thank you very much for spending your time here with us tonight, talking, sharing your journey, your experience, being an inspiration for others, allowing them into your life, and letting them know what it is you do, how you do it, and that you are doing it, and being that inspiration, it frees up others and lets them know that they can do it too. And I want to thank you for that. You are an inspiration to me, and I know that you will inspire and you will touch many lives. So thank you. And I want to wish you and Michelle the best of everything. Michelle is awesome. I think she's fabulous, on your new journey together, and your new journey together in Chi-Town. So best wishes to you guys. And thank you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. That was so nice. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That doesn't count. You have to call someone after this and give them a genuine compliment.
I will. I'm going to do that. I will do that.
Okay.
So I also want to thank the viewers for tuning in. If you believe that you got a lot of value, if you got a lot of value out of this video, share it with someone who you think will need to watch it too. So like the video, leave a comment, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on SoundCloud. And I am Margaret, bringing you the best of the best. That was like totally impromptu there.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for spending your time here with us tonight. Have a good night, and we will be back. We'll see you soon. Peace out.